right, Stevie, that can we critique Sark's dance? I mean, that I loved it with the team. I love the energy. I love the reaction by the team after that win over UT San Antonio last night or Saturday night. But if you were to critique dance moves, what are the first words that come to mind?
Don't do it. Just don't. Just don't. You don't have to, man. Enjoy your win. If you're gonna do it, it's just a side to side. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you gotta do. Just stay in your box. Stay in your box. That's all you gotta do. Right, just like that, man. Just like that. No, nothing more, nothing less.
That was hilarious. But you know what? Nowadays, everything is exposed to the general public through social media. They know what they're doing. They're marketing.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. But it was fun to see him celebrating with the team. Yeah. Seems like the kids are buying into him. I think they may have a little ways to go.
Yeah.
But for the most part, these are Sharks guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so he's celebrating with them, man. It was fun to watch.
Hey, before we get started, man, we've got to show a lot of love. It's not the official onboarding, but the first time we get to use the two words, Hargrove Roofing. They are tied to your Shreveport, Louisiana roots, and they have made a massive growth, I guess, to the west here in Texas. Yeah. And they're in Austin right now on the end of the street that I grew up on.
Oh, really?
Ashdale.
Wow, that's awesome, man. Yeah, Hargrove Roofing. Partnered with them, was that earlier this year?
Mm-hmm.
Or mid last year. But good company, good guys, very honest. So, I vouch for them. So it's they're just good people,
Yeah.
With ties back in Louisiana, and whenever Billy and Clyde and Coach Ab get together, man, we have a really good time. So it was only right to do business with them, man. So Hargrove Roofing, know who's on your roof.
Those are really. It's really simple, and honestly, I had lunch with Coach Ab, Coach Abernathy, this past Friday or last week. An unbelievable guy, and you can tell his knowledge of high school football, life, and business, and his family. Man, the guy is just one of the unique people I've ever met, just because of he knows how to balance it all. And to go from coaching, it tells you right there. If you go into coaching, it prepares you for I would say, all walks of business.
Yeah,
because when you're a coach AD, you are literally a CEO of an enterprise.
Yeah.
And that he was there in the Shreveport area. Great guy. He told me the entire story of him and his family and that coaching, and it was just a phenomenal guy. And I can't wait. Next time we got to have big Stevie Lee and hopefully Billy and Clyde as well. And I can't wait for this relationship to flourish.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, man. There's good people knowing good people. That's all.
It is 100%. It is. Yeah. So last night or on Saturday night, the Horns faced some true adversity. UT San Antonio. A lot of people overlooked that team on the schedule. I've been saying this since April, and not because I'm friends with Jeff Traylor, the head coach of UTSA. I saw what they had last year. I know what they lost from that team, but they still had that fifth-year, really dual-threat quarterback, Frank Harris, and he gave Texas a lot of trouble. And before you and I dive deep into that, let's hear what Sark had to say about dealing with all that adversity early on with UTSA.
Yeah,
I thought we did that. They went up 17-7 after the double pass, and I didn't think our team blinked for a second. From that moment on, we outscored them 34-3. I thought we controlled the line of scrimmage after that. We were able to run the football. We were able to stop the run. We were able to get off the field on defense. Obviously created a big interception there by Jahdae Barron, which I think kind of opened the game up.
Blitz coming, sends it out too high, picked! There goes Jahdae Barron. Say goodnight to it. Pick six, 41 yards for the Texas touchdown.
My guy, they gave up 3 points in that second half. I mean, Your evaluation of Frank Harris, UTSA, I thought Jeff Traylor's game plan was phenomenal. Go after him, nothing to lose, and it was working for them.
It was. So you're right, nothing to lose. They're in a big environment. I'm sure that, he coached them up to be like, the Alabama loss was a emotional loss, and they're still riding on that. And I told you last week, you don't want one loss to turn into another loss. You got to move past it, learn what you made mistakes on, and go on to the next game. Didn't look like we were awake that first half or that first quarter, and then we woke up, But when I say we, the University of Texas, for those
right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was good to watch. But what I did notice is we ran a lot of base defense. We weren't blitzing and spying and things like that. It was frankly a lot of base offense too, right? So that made me feel good that they stuck with a basic game plan and let the kids play themselves out of it.
Yeah. Face that adversity. So,
yeah.
Do you remember a moment? I'm sure you remember several, but is there one moment that really, really, truly sticks out from your playing days at Texas where you faced adversity in a game which you did not anticipate, and what did you learn from
it? There was a lot of adversity in back in my playing days, but the one that really sticks out was not to throw anybody or anything under the bus, but when we played Arkansas at home, I remember. Yeah, exactly. That's the only home game in that stadium that I lost. The only game in that stadium that I lost. I don't even know how many games I played in that stadium, in DKR Stadium, but I only lost one, and that was against Arkansas. But the adversity was, I don't remember us talking enough about how quick, fast, and big Matt Jones was, the quarterback.
Huge.
It's Matt Jones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We did not talk about how big and fast he was, and we did not game plan correctly for him, and that was the adversity. So we could have stuck it in and won that game, but it was no game plan for him. He just ran all over us, ran all over us and through us, So, and so that was the adversity that I remember. We did make some adjustments during the game. It just didn't work out for us.
Yeah,
it could have, but it just didn't work out for us. But it was real big adversity. The other adversity I had, oh man, it's that OSU game, Oklahoma State game, when we were down by a lot. I can't even remember how much we were down by when we came back after halftime and just turned it on. That was special, man. I remember Coach Brown telling us a story how, there are timestamps on his emails. And in the first half, he's getting emails of how terrible he is. We need to go back to such and such and this and that. And then as we start to, go ahead, pull the game out and go ahead, he starts getting emails that were, way to go, coach. It's that'll way to come back, that'll way to persevere and all that stuff like that. So that's Texas adversity right there, man. You start doing bad, they're gonna let you know it.
All the time.
Yeah, but I like the adversity that I want to think that Coach Shark and his staff wanted to see how the boys were going to respond, because we could have called some crazy plays, and we saw the size of those guys at UTSA. We would have run right through them if we would have called, some text ed, some zone blitzes and things like that, and we would have, done our thing, what we could have done. But he kept them in base defenses and base offenses, and just want to run it down their throat, and then we wanted to just stop their offense with our base packages. And when we got down, they stuck with it and let the kids play themselves out. You know, when you have a baby and after a while the baby is just crying in their room and you don't want to go and pick the baby up and do all that, we call that self-soothing. So Shark self-soothed, let the kids self-soothe themselves back into the game, right? Because I do believe that they could have called some really good plays, some really good blitzes and things like that. But from what I saw, I was like, oh, they're just gonna they're letting them play.
Yeah.
And you need that later on in the season. You're gonna need that. You're gonna need the kids to want it bad enough to stop them, and for the coaches to call the plays to stop them. You know, so. I mostly watch the defense that way, but it was fun to watch. It was good, and I think these kids, by doing that, you also get these kids to get more confidence in themselves.
You talk about the what if with the safety. Well, this is back-to-back weeks where we've had a defensive player, a targeting call. So targeting, let's hear Sark, because after we talk about it, this is really good. The one revision they made in this offseason is a decent revision, but it's not enough. Here's what Sark said about Demarvion Overshown's targeting, which was complete BS, by the way.
You know, there's new rules in place now where we're allowed to appeal a targeting, especially one that occurs in the second half of the game. So we'll definitely try to appeal this one. You know, I felt like Demarvion did everything he could. He never lowered his head. He tried to make a clean hit. It was a bang play. So, you know, we'll take a look at it on tape and then try to send it in and see what the league says.
So, Stevie, you played defense. Targeting was a lot different back when you played. And it wasn't that long ago.
If I'd have hit anybody on the field like Overshown, any of my tackles, I would have gone thrown out. So with the rules today,
right,
most of my team would have been thrown out. We would have been playing with
Killebrew would have been done. So it's the game is different, and I understand it's being safer and things like that, but there's a thing called overcorrecting, right? And you don't want to see a kid getting kicked out of a game, especially from an accident. First of all, the kid did not go and try to maliciously hurt this kid, right? Second of all, you kick him out of the game, and it's like, why? It was an accident if he did it. And two, he didn't hit him with the spear at the top of his head, right? Like he kept his head up like you're supposed to, wrapped up, and took him into the ground. It was textbook to me. And to call that a targeting and kicking a kid out of the game and maybe missing the next game next week when we really need him against Texas Tech, that's just not football to me. That's not football. That's not. Here's the part that bothers me about it all. Okay, if you're going to call targeting and you reviewed it during the game, I mean, there should be levels of targeting. You make a judgment call.
Right.
So, okay, if you're going to rule this targeting as they did, then you give a ruling, he's just going to miss this game. He's not going to miss any time next game.
Right.
Especially since it's the second half. Or if it was so severe of infraction, then you go with, all right, you're out of the game, then you miss this first half of the next game. I'm with you. Penalizing a guy, let's face it, Overshown, it does everything. He's so well coached, and he does things fundamentally sound. And this is back-to-back weeks in which Texas fans have had to deal with go through the depth of a rule, which still doesn't make any sense after the game. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. And you're removing playing time, and especially with next week, like you said, a conference opener, which we'll be talking about here shortly.
Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully the appeal works. And when you start reviewing those type of plays, that's bang, bang like that, stop slow-moing it and making a judgment call. Just play it in full speed. Don't speed it up, but don't slow it down. Play it full speed and see what that kid could have done. Because you're looking at it, they're looking at it in slow-mo. And in slow-mo, you're thinking that this kid's supposed to turn his head or give up on the play in slow-mo. That's not the way football is played. It's not played in slow-mo. Run it full speed and then make the judgment call.
And he was a blitzing linebacker.
Exactly.
I mean, that's a heat-seeking missile. He can't just pull the lever and stop.
Right. And we've seen blitzing linebackers and safeties go in head first. He did not. So it's a bang, bang play. Review it as bang, bang, not in slow-mo.
I agree. And I'm assuming we'll probably find out something Monday. That's just what I'm assuming. Yeah, they'll review it maybe Tuesday. Putting a bow on the UTSA game, a 41-20 win for Texas, and it was they came back. But when you look at the overall vision of the program itself, that is UTSA, how would you analyze, or what would you say about what Jeff Traylor has done? That's a guy who is assistant for Charlie Strong, a high school coaching legend in the state of Texas. What the job he's done and the attention he's brought that program in a short period of time.
Yeah. So I really like how they came in confident.
Yeah,
right?
they did.
They came in very confident, and that's almost like trickle down, Coach had the quarterback was ready, like
Frank Harris. Oh my goodness,
that kid came out on fire, man, and he was pretty accurate. Like I'm pretty sure. I'm thinking that UTSA go and do something special in their conference.
I'm with you right there.
Yeah. But he was not scared of the lights. He was poised. So I think that they have a pretty bright future, especially coming in here and actually giving us a game in their little bitties UTSA. Yeah. And I mean that it's right down the road. It's a beautiful campus. I love San Antonio, UT San Antonio's campus, and the area that is in and things like that. But it's their program been up for what, 5, 6 years now?
I want to say 15 years now.
Yeah.
So we saw a couple of weeks ago, we saw Coach Traylor, with his game notes in his journal after they lost that heartbreaker in San Antonio in front of almost a full house to then ranked Houston. Well, this is Coach Traylor just as passionate, talking about, all right, this is where we are. We lined up here against the Longhorns in Austin, program that he has a ton of respect for. And he basically laid out, listen, for us to move forward, being UTSA, this is what needs to happen.
We're never going to get this thing we want to be if we really believe we're second fiddle. And I just don't see it that way. I think the city of San Antonio is an amazing city. It's time for us to bowl up and play real football. And the only way we're going to do that, we got to have some freaking big-time gifts from some big-time people. And we got the people in our city to do it. We got the facilities. We got to get that indoor done. We got to get NIL money. Let's go play real football. We get this thing where it's supposed to be. We play anybody in the country.
Man, that's the plan. He knows what it takes, but
listen, he's not wrong about the money in San Antonio. Right? You get that San Antonio money behind you. You're talking, they can do some special stuff, right?
Yeah.
And he's not wrong about that. So he's trying to build a program to be on par with I want to word this correctly without sounding pretentious. So he wants to be on par with the University of Texas's and the Texas A&Ms of the world. It's an uphill battle, man. But I mean, you can do it. You play in the Alamo Dome. You know, you get some good donors in there and build those facilities up and get some big time recruits. You know, I think that football is getting a lot better south of San Antonio. I've had some teammates from south of San Antonio, and they can recruit that area down there really hard and steal some kids out of Houston, steal some kids out of Dallas, steal some kids from El Paso and things like that, and Abilene area and all that stuff. They can do it. They can do it. I hope they do. The football in Texas needs all the schools to be good, but it's an uphill battle, man. And I like his enthusiasm, man. I really do. That was awesome
too. I've always admired his work. Love the guy. Love his passion. How excited he gets. And I don't think there's anyone else who could take that job and pour as much time and invest an individual self as much as Jeff Traylor does at UTSA.
Yeah.
The Alamo Dome is nowhere near the campus. Nowhere near.
No.
But
that's okay. You know, there's other schools. There's huge schools that don't play, or they play their home games nowhere near their campus. UCLA.
That's a good point. The Rose Bowl.
The Rose Bowl. That's nowhere near. That's actually in Pasadena. You know, it's not in LA. So, you know, University of Georgia's campus or stadium is off campus.
Oh, it's on campus. Yeah.
No,
in Athens.
In Athens.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was on campus. I thought that it was off campus.
Well, God, I hope I went there once.
I think officially it's off campus. But it's such a small town that you think the whole town is campus. But I think officially it's off campus. They don't even go to that state. Well, when I was being recruited, they didn't go to their stadium for anything but for the game.
Yeah.
The facilities and everything was on campus, and the stadium is off campus. And but you're right. There's a ton of schools that don't even play their games on their campus. They what is it? Pittsburgh play in the Pittsburgh Steelers stadium.
Excellent point.
Yeah. So Miami,
and hey, South Florida plays at Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
The Buccaneer Stadium, yeah. So but you're right. It's UT San Antonio. Their stadium is downtown, basically downtown San Antonio, and they're out. What is that? Northwest.
Yeah, right by the Loop, 1604, right? Something like that.
1604. Yeah. So, but they do rock that stadium whenever they get in there.
Oh yeah, they do.
The fans were passionate. When I was in the game this weekend, their fans were really passionate. A little annoying, but they're passionate about their team, so that's okay.
I've noticed that. I went down there to watch them play Alabama Birmingham last year, and it was for the right to host the conference championship game, and they came back and won. And those fans, it was electric.
Yeah,
the Alamo Dome is not a bad spot. It's very
not. And they should be happy that they got somebody to be a tenant in that building.
Yeah,
because if it wasn't for UTSA, that building would be sitting there. The Spurs moved out years ago.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
So Jeff Traylor, man, keep going, brother. You're doing a hell of a job. Doing the 210. I love that helmet, y'all.
Yeah, that was
210.
Yeah,
the triangle of toughness, as he calls it, and he's locking down San Antonio.
He should.
Man, they'll take another step up. I don't know how far they can take it, but with Jeff Traylor, I won't.
Listen,
I won't doubt it.
We don't need to know. We don't need to try to predict how far they're going to take it, because Traylor, he thinks they're going to take it all the way. The way he's talking, he thinks that they're going to get some, and they can do it. Get some good donors and take it all the way. It's going to be make them a household name.
People across the country know who he is now. I mean, they didn't last year.
Right.
I got to give him a shout out though. Last year when they played in their bowl game, he is true through and through, diehard committed to the Texas High School Coaches Association. He wore that black hat with that THSCA on it, representing all the high school football coaches in Texas.
Good.
And he knows how to market.
Yeah.
Love that guy. Hey, so conference opener for Texas and everybody in the Big 12. Lubbock's a tough place, but Texas has had success recently there. I think they've won the last 3 in Lubbock.
Yeah, but man, Lubbock, I'm glad it's an afternoon game because Lubbock at night scares me. It scares me, man. I remember playing there and losing to Texas Tech, man, and fans going nuts. Their fans goes nuts, throwing the tortillas, all that stuff, man. And it was when they rushed the field and we're trying to get off the field, the University of Texas trying to get off the field, people are horns down in our face, screaming in our face, and we can't do anything. We have to drop our head and just keep on walking, because, they can do everything to us, but as soon as we do something to them, then it's a problem, So it's a big problem. So we knew that we had to just get off the field and let them do their thing, but they can sneak up on you, and so they gotta be sound going in there.
Head right. I'll tell you this. I have a couple of. First off, 2011 when Oklahoma State had a really good year. I followed OU and Oklahoma State. We went to some type of pizza place there across Marshall Sharp Freeway. We did a live shot there. It was a brick oven place, and if you're hearing me, that brick oven place, I appreciate the food poisoning, and I'll never get over that.
Oh my goodness!
In Lubbock, I doubt it was. I don't know. I don't want to hurt a business, but
right.
So I was sick the whole night, and it was me and a coworker from Fox in Oklahoma City, and my job was to shoot the video and get the interviews. And I missed the entire first half. Oklahoma State scored 40 points in the first half. Second one before that, 2007, Sam Bradford's first year. That's the quarterback. They upset Oklahoma, and they stormed the field. I want to tell you, Lubbock must have some of the largest human beings as Department of Public Safety reps, and they were ready to form tackle some people.
Really?
Oh, my goodness. I mean, large defense, Stevie Lee type folks.
Yeah, man. But they didn't have it when I played. They did not. Because they all came out on the field, man.
Stevie, they're uncivilized at night in Lubbock.
They are. That's why I said it's scary hours.
It's a good environment for college football.
It's a good environment for college football if you're on their side.
But, yeah.
I don't like it. I get scared about it every time they announce it's a night game, because you remember Crabtree.
Yes.
You remember Crabtree? That's a night game. Yeah. You remember, I won't call any names, but it was a DB that jacked us up one year. That was a night game too. I can't remember what the play was, but I think he went for the interception and somebody caught it over him or something like that. Another night game that we lost. So
this week, man, was pretty cool in college football. A lot of big-time performances, including one of the Horns, Bijan Robinson, 202 combined yards, 3 touchdowns last night. What do you have to say about that guy? Because obviously he's going to make somebody a good first-round pick after this junior season.
What I saw this week, pull up his size. What is he, 6'2" to 6'3",
He's not large. He's not overly.
Or 6'1", maybe?
6 feet, 220.
Oh, I thought he was taller than that, man. But 220 and can cut like he can cut? It's unreal, man. He put his foot in the ground. He's gone the next direction while you're still trying to figure out your feet, you know? And so he shook a bunch of people, but he also can run you over.
Yeah.
You know? And so in the stands with some of the buddies of mine that I go to the game with, we were trying to figure out who he's like. Who that we had at the University of Texas that he's like. He's not like Ricky.
No.
He's not like Cedric, right? He's not like Jamal. He is like all three of them.
He's his own self.
Yeah, he's his own self, but he's quick like Jamal, big like big like Ricky was, right? But he also can fall forward and run you over like Cedric, right?
Cedric was
he'll run through you, and he's shifty like Jamal. You know what I mean? So I can't pinpoint who he runs like. The greats that we already had at the University of Texas, I can't pinpoint who he runs like. I can see flashes of all three of them in him.
Yeah, you know? I do too.
Yeah, so he can be. Golly, that's big, right? That's big if I say that. He can be the best running back that come through the University of Texas. He could be.
Total package. Good hands.
Good package. Catching out of the backfield, I haven't seen him drop any. Have you?
No, I don't remember any.
If it's in his hands, he's got it, you know? And to tell your quarterback, if all else fails, just dump it down to me.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you got to do.
You know?
That's all you got to do.
He's a leader. I've seen him in practice. Something was wrong. So they get a call in, and those big cards that they hold up on the sideline, all that stuff, it's not just random stuff. It means something, actually.
It does mean something.
Yeah, and so the coach called something. He looks to the sideline because they have those cards in practice. He looks to the sideline, and the card's wrong. Someone got the card wrong on the sideline. And I saw him go up and just start yelling not yelling, but, you know, in a very passionate way, correct that, you know, like, do your job. And he's right. I mean, we're trying to prepare. He's preparing for his future.
Right.
We're trying to prepare for the next opponent, and you getting this wrong, you know, only perfect practices make perfect, you know? And so if you're going to do it if you're in practice, pay attention like it's in the game to make the game easy for you. So he's pretty passionate about it. He's definitely, when I saw him do that was like, oh, we got a leader here. You know,
he's more vocal now.
He's more vocal and passionate about what he does.
And it shows. And that guy, he looks like I like to see him and Jamal Charles in a foot race.
No, I don't know, man. I think Jamal's much faster. I think Jamal's fast, man. I mean, he's a track guy.
Yeah.
Jamal's a track guy. And but if Bijan wanted to challenge him to something, put a big dummy in front of him and see who takes it down better, you know, because Jamal ran around people. Bijan is running through people and around. So he do both. He's a hybrid.
he looks like he glides like an ice skater.
Yeah. And when he broke that long run, what was it, 76 yards?
Yeah.
Or 78, so something like that. 76 yards. No one was catching him. No one.
Couldn't. There's no one on. No one.
No one was catching him. So it's just fun to watch him play.
I love him, and people need to really embrace it because he's done it. He's moving on after this year, I would assume.
I don't want to talk about it.
I know it. I know it. They've got 8 more. They've got 9 to 10 more games with him.
Yeah,
maybe 11.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you look on this list here. So we saw Washington's offense, half 1,000 yards against Michigan State. Hey, football may be good again back up in Seattle, but it's that number 2 item on the agenda, which I think is pretty significant. Kansas really put it on Houston. And Coach Leopold, everybody's saying, who is that? He's not a big name. The guy's a ball coach.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the same coach who really developed a plan to beat Texas last year, and not only just beat Texas, but Texas was trying to catch up with them last year. I know Texas was 5-7, but Kansas really grew up there toward the end of the year, and under that leadership. It's not like Kansas was playing Sisters of the Poor this year. This is a team that could push for a bowl berth, and that's pretty big for that program.
No, they're 3-0 now. I'm pretty sure they'll get a bowl berth. All they need is 3 more games.
That's it.
And we're still in the beginning of the season, right? So they'll get there. These are one of those teams in our league that we just can't overlook anymore. And everyone screams SEC, but for the most part, SEC is just top heavy. That's all it is.
That's it.
Just top heavy. When you look at other conferences, not just the Big 12, but if you look at the Big 12, it's a steady. Everyone's good in the Big 12, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. What do we have? 10 teams in the Big 12?
Yeah.
So when you look at Oklahoma State, now Texas, and then Texas Tech, Baylor, right, is ranked, and so that's 5 right there. That's half the league right there. That's really good right now. And then Kansas, Kansas is really good right now. So you look at the big conferences. What everyone thinks that's the best conference.
Yeah.
It's just top heavy. You have Alabama, Georgia, and who else? Maybe LSU.
Maybe Tennessee.
Exactly.
South Carolina's garbage.
Yeah. They're just top heavy. That's it. When you need consistent teams throughout the conference. And I think that's what the Big 12 has right now.
In Arkansas, they're pretty good, but they almost got beat last night.
Yeah, man. So it's the same thing across the board. In the Big 12, we're going to be competing every week during conference play.
Vince Young made a really valid point. It was in an interview recently about going to the SEC, and he said, "You know what?" He said he tells all the folks over there in the SEC that just shout that all the time, like Charles Barkley and others, go look at the head-to-head between Big 12 and SEC.
Absolutely.
Bowl games, non-conference, more often than not, the Big 12 has more of those little marks in that column that says W.
Yep, absolutely.
Day with regards to Jackson State fans.
The Jackson turnout was phenomenal. The Grambling turnout was pathetic. I mean, we always talking about we down for y'all and we good for the culture, where we at. And then when we get up by 2 touchdowns, they running for the cars. That's what I mean by the traditional mess. I get sick of that. Tradition. What tradition? The team get up on you leave. When we got up on Miami, I'm sorry, we got up on fam, the band dipped. Right? Now half the fans left. It's not tradition. That's front runners. That's what's got to change.
I don't disagree with anything he says about that at all. And that's across the table. You're going to tell me Texas A&M fans, what was that 12th, man? I've seen that stadium. It's like someone part of the Red Sea over there when they started losing it after halftime.
Yeah, he has a point in that sense. I remember growing up in Shreveport, Louisiana, they had HBCUs would come to Shreveport.
Yeah.
and play at Independence Stadium. My dad would take me to the game. And it was always fascinating to me now that I got older, I have the words for it. It was a sports and entertainment event.
Yeah, all the bands, halftime, everything.
All of it, man. So I loved it, man. I loved that. That actually got me to fall in love with college football when I was little like that. And I have a big cousin that actually went to go play at Southern in Baton Rouge. And so I loved every minute of HBCU football. Coach Prime is passionate. I love what he's doing down there. Everybody needs to get behind him. Everybody, from not just in HBCU sports, just everyone, what he's doing for those kids down there. I understand what he's doing, and I understand what he's saying, but there is a deep tradition on Gramblin's campus. Now, leaving the game early when your team get down, I don't like that, but team do better, You got to do better, team, right? But tradition is there on that campus. I got to disagree a little bit with him on that, because you can't discount the years that Coach Robinson was there.
Yeah, legend. Yeah. Rest in peace.
Yeah, legend. And there's not a corner of college football in this country that wasn't touched by that man. I remember being recruited. There was a Grambling coach that came to my high school. He just wanted to shake my hand. He's like, I know we're not going to get you, but I want you to go on and do good things and things like that. It felt like he cared about me. He wasn't trying to recruit me. I wasn't going to a school. I mean, I don't want to sound pretentious again, but I was D1. It was, for me, my mindset was D1 or bust, right? But in this new day and age, I think I would have given HBCUs another look, a deeper look, right? But, HBCUs wasn't where they are now, So, right now you can get exposed anywhere, exposure anywhere. So the game would have been changed a little bit for me, because I grew up on HBCU football coming to Shreveport, Louisiana. I think they called it the Red River Classic.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Well, that's what it was, the Red River Classic. And Grambling, Alcorn, Southern, Texas Southern,
Prairie
View, all those teams would come to Shreveport and play. And it was a sea of people that looked like me, that moved like me, that danced like me, that listened to the same music I liked. And as a little boy in those stands, it was special for me. It was special. And I love my people, out in the parking lot, they had, the college kids with the big speakers in their trunks. They would just pop the trunks and what Pimp C would call it, parking lot pimping, It's an experience, man. HBCU is an experience. I loved every minute of it. My cousin would talk about it all the time at Southern. Southern is right down the street from LSU's campus.
Yeah.
And so they used to all get together and hang out and party together, And when I went on a recruiting visit to Florida State, the Florida State guys that was hosting me, they didn't take me to anywhere on Florida State's campus. You know where they took me?
FAMU.
They took me right down the street to FAMU, and we hung out with FAMU, not with FSU, because that's where the fun is, man. So, I love HBCU football, but Grambling has some tradition there. They should not leave the stands early. Once their team gets down, the band needs to stay in the stands till the clock is over. I understand where coach is coming from, but they do have tradition. I love the tradition there.
Eddie Robinson, legend.
Eddie, yeah.
Really, really, wow. Doug Williams.
Yeah, Doug came
Super Bowl.
Won a Super Bowl. and then came back home to coach them. Didn't all work out the way, the Cinderella story of how we wanted it to work out, but that's a legend that's coming back to try to help out his program, man. And hats off for him for trying,
And one thing that I hate, Stevie, is the simple fact that HBCUs are not all of them. Some of them are struggling, financially, including Grambling, because there's something I read a few years ago.
Yeah, they almost lost their program.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So we do. They need to get that tradition to turn into monetary values. So they got to get out there and start. First of all, get money from the state to stay alive, because it's actually an important university to be around, right? All of these HBCUs, it's very important for them to stay around, especially, I don't want to get into anything politics, but especially the way they're changing history books for these kids, right? So, but they're important institutions. So getting money from the states, and then also getting money and the donors and the alumni getting back together and actually paying attention to what's going on, because when you're on the top of that ladder, you always got to reach down and help somebody else back up, right?
In life in general.
In life in general. And so the alumni of all these prestigious HBCUs actually need to get together and make sure that they're doing the right thing and pulling these kids up,
And one that I think would be, there's a history lesson for everybody at all of them. If people would really open up the history books.
Yeah.
The one before we move forward, Tuskegee, and and look in that community, the Tuskegee Airmen.
Yeah.
That'll put chills on you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unreal.
Absolutely.
Unreal.
Josh Bynes has been coming all night long, but then he pulls out and it's just hard. It's been a while since he's seen a hole that big.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, wait a minute. Were those bits put together, or did he really say that?
Yeah, it sounded like smooth edits. Let's listen to it again.
Yeah.
Josh Bynes has been coming all night long, but then he pulls out and it's just hard. It's been a while since he's seen a hole that big.
No, Troy Aikman. Oh, my goodness. Oh, well, hey, we've all done it, man. We've all done it. So, bless them.
Oh, my God.
Oh, goodness.
I saw that. Good. I have waited all day to show you that.
Hey, by the way, text me that when we get off, man.
Hey, man, tell me something good.
Hey, Stevie, we always love to end on a little positivity every time, everywhere. I want to pull up a graphic here, and I want to show you something that I witnessed something that was simply amazing to me. So I called play-by-play for Anderson High School football.
Yeah.
And they were playing Bowie High School, and it was a really hard-fought game. Bowie won 27-24. Well, the story there was AISD doesn't get a lot right. They are a poorly run school district. They don't know how to stand up to the state or TEA about Robin Hood or for the tax money. They're horribly run, have no leadership. And I can say that on this platform until we get strong leadership. Well, one of the guys running for school district is Clint Small. His son's Ed Small, who is already accepted a full scholarship offer from UT baseball as a sophomore. His dad, Ed, the other Ed, played at McCallum, played at Texas, and was the school board president back in the day. So the guy on the right was my high school football coach my first 3 years at Anderson High School, Jim Acker. And the guy in the middle picture, he's hiding behind the Bowie players. That was Tommy Cox, the first Bowie coach. and was the AISD athletic director. And there's Ed Small, the big Ed, right there in the middle. Well, he decided to have all three men at the coin toss for this game. And with aging men, you move a little slower. But, man, I tell you what, the smiles on their faces and just being there reliving a coin toss on a field where they spent so much time. That one on the right is where, man, I got a little lip quiver walking Coach Acker back to the sideline. That's awesome. It was unreal, Stevie.
That's good stuff, man.
Oh, my God. There's a lot of not great things happening at AISD, but that was a great moment. And shout out to Clint Small for really getting behind that and organizing it. And it was a beautiful sight, brother.
That's awesome. That's good stuff, man. That's good. That's a really good positive note, man. That's good for you.
Oh, my God. Anything you've seen on your end, maybe at the Texas game or within your family or your Longhorn brotherhood lately?
What's really warming my heart right now, really, honestly, is, they moved our seats, the alumni seats, from the section 17 because they wanted the rowdy fans and the rowdy students to be in that section. So they moved up to section 31, 32, and I think some people are in 30. Well, what I really like is no matter if we played at the same time, if we played together or not, we all acknowledge each other, the alumni, in those sections over there. So, I see somebody from I was in the 04 class. If I see somebody from the 2011 class, it's a general respect that we did this. We were here, So I really, really love that, the way we treat each other as alumni, football alumni, and that are members of the T Association. And I respect how we treat and love on each other from across generations. I did not play with Todd Hunt, but I can say Todd Hunt is one of my best friends.
Great guy.
He'll pick up the phone for me any day and do anything I'll ask him to do. And I would do the same for him. His lovely wife, Nancy, would do the same for me because it's just, and my wife would do the same for Todd. It's family. And that actually, I wish somehow we can get that across to these recruits that we want coming in, right? So there was this this thing going around all week about Arch Manning and how much we spent on Arch Manning that weekend. And it's funny. It's, it's a headline. But
that's all it is.
Yeah, that's all it is. The first thing I thought about was he committed to us, so we need to be committed to him, right? And I got that from Coach Brown. When I committed to the University of Texas committed to me. The very next day I had a letter of intent or a letter saying if anything ever happened to me, because I was still playing my senior year in football, anything ever happened to me, I always still had a scholarship at the University of Texas. He sent that the very next day, FedEx overnight to my doorstep, right? So I said all that to say Arch Manning said he's coming to the University of Texas. Well, now we need to be committed to him as well. And by that, I want to say we don't need to know how much we spent that weekend that he and his family was here. That I'm sure they don't even care about that. He's coming from football royalty, What that article and what people are going to look at that is putting more pressure on that kid, right? He's one of us now. And whatever happened in the past is the past. He's one of us. He's committed to us, and now we're committed to him. So he needs to not look at those headlines and have that pressure on him. They spent this much money on my recruiting visit, so I got to get down here and do this. No, you need to get down here and just be a student. Student athlete.
Plain and simple.
Yeah, plain and simple. Be a student athlete first. You're probably not going to play your first year here. Quinn Ewers he's a damn good quarterback. Learn from him. You know, just learn how to be a college athlete, right? So that's where I want to get across to these kids that are looking to become a Texas Longhorn, being recruited by us and things like that. This is invaluable. You can't put a price on it because I played those 4 years. I was there for 5 years, played 4 years at the University of Texas. That went by like that, right? But I've been here for 22 years, and it's
a lifetime.
Yeah, it's a lifetime, and I'm going to be here for 22 more in those same seats in the stadium, looking at guys that are graduating this year. It's like, what's up, man? How you doing? Do you need anything? Oh, here's my number. Call me, you know? And I'm an old head at this time, right? And then the same thing's going to happen with Arch Manning. He's going to spend 4 years here. He's going to graduate, but we're all part of the same family, you know? So that's what warms my heart about the University of Texas alumni. It's actually even across sports. It doesn't have to just be football.
My brother, this has been fun.
Always, man.
Always fun.
Always fun.
We got a lot accomplished.
We did, man. I got on my soapbox a little bit. I'm sorry.
I did too.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of AISD because they're just.
Yeah, I hear you.
They need leadership.
Yeah. Hey, we don't have to go down that rabbit hole again, man. Don't worry about it. Get your blood boiling again, all right?
You know, I'll put purple Lamborghini on, and everything will be all good.
Don't do it before you go to sleep because you can be jacked up. Do it in the morning when you're trying to wake up. Purple Lamborghini.
Let's go Monday.
Yes, man.
Take on Monday. Hey, from a guy, Stevie Lee, and the OG Man Cave Boys, Hardball Hards, Big Mike, and Coach Mo. How about them Cowboys? We are out.